Good morning, everybody. My name is David. I'm travel agent here at the Happening Travel Club. For those of you unfamiliar with us, either in the meeting or watching us afterwards, we are a charity nonprofit travel club that we offer educational and cultural experiences through travel and as charity fundraisers. We're also joined today by my teammate Nivid. If you've spoken with us on the phone, you may have spoken with him as well. And also today we do have my volunteer guide for most of my trips, Al Ferguson. Very, very experienced traveler. He's been to more countries than most people even know about. And because I will be running the technical side of the stream and doing lots of tabbing and slides and things like that, I'm going to let him take. Thank you, Al. Welcome.
Good morning, David. Very happy to be here. I'm actually in Orlando today. I'm in a conference here in Orlando. I live in the Villages, and very happy to be here. This is a fun trip. Let me first explain what we are doing, what I've been asked to do for the Happening Travel Club. As David said, it's a nonprofit organization. It's a 501c3, so it's very different than a retail travel company, a tour company. Operates in a very different way, principally from the Villages in Florida, which is where I live. Quite a large membership there for the travel club. Today, we're talking about a destination in the West. So we're principally talking to participants that are watching live. We're recording this live, but it is broadcasting many watching in YouTube. And of course, this is going to be live on demand in YouTube, and thousands will watch this in coming weeks. You'll be able to see it at the top of the web page that the Travel Club has for the trip, and thousands of you will watch. So I only make that distinction so when you're watching it, you know this was a live presentation to talk to very knowledgeable people from the West, specifically in Nevada, and talking about this itinerary that the Travel Club is going to do. So, as David said, I have traveled the world. I've been to 148 countries and have escorted tours to more than 100 countries. I am very proud to say in the West, I have been to all of these national parks that we're talking about many times. I've done special experiences like staying at the Ahwahnee Hotel in Yosemite for Christmas and other kinds of things on the California side of the Sierras. And of course, a major and interesting portion of this trip, you see many itineraries that focus on the national parks. And then you see many travel programs that focus on the resorts in Nevada. This itinerary is an escorted experience that combines both. And arguably, Nevada is the number one tourism destination for high energy, exciting tourism destinations in the entire world. And no offense to my friends here in Orlando, but that includes Orlando. We, as I said, are going to talk about this itinerary. I want to take a moment first to introduce the participants with us. First is Lisa Huff, and coordinator at Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. That's the official tourism office for Las Vegas, as everyone knows, one of the top tourism destinations in the entire world. Good morning, Lisa.
And Al, I don't know if Lisa was able to join us today. So.
Okay. All right. Very good. I'm going to move on.
So that would actually be me. Thank you, Al.
Okay. All right. Very good. And that, as speaking, is Scott Fujinaga, and he is the destination domestic market manager for the authority. Good morning, Scott.
Okay.
And Scott was the one that was just speaking. And then Cherie Westbrook is the extended destination manager for Las Vegas. Good morning, Cherie.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
This will be very informative for members and people here in the Villages. Then from the other end of the state is the Reno Convention and Visitors Bureau. First is Jennifer Diaz, and she's a tourism manager for Reno. Good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning, everyone.
Yeah,
Is it?
I love your background.
And I believe it's
then
Jennifer.
Katie DeMuth, and another tourism manager for Reno. Katie, I pronounced your last name correctly? DeMuth?
Yeah, you did great. Thank you.
Excellent. Very good. Well, to our participants, I encourage you, remember, this is, while we're doing this live, this is principally for people that can watch on demand. So our conversation can be very robust. It's a live conversation. Those that are participating with us right now are watching live. And at the end of the presentation, David will explain to you how you might, if you have desire to ask questions about the trip or the destinations that we're talking about.
And we'll say, as we go through the presentation, for our guest speakers, if you have a point, just hop in. Don't worry about it. For the folks watching, if you have a question, until the question and answer section, we do ask that you type them out. If you're on a computer, there's a little chat box in the bottom right of the meeting. Or you can click, if you're on mobile, there's 3 dots, and you can choose the in-call messages option to type out your messages. If you're on YouTube, you can just type it in the YouTube chat. If it's after this is live, you can just email us or text us or call us with any questions you have. And if they are for our guest speakers, we will get those questions to them. And if not, we'll do our best to answer you.
Thank you, David. And the most important point there is, please, if you're participating in this live, which you are because you're hearing my voice, in this live presentation, please hold your questions until the end of the presentation, unless you type them in. And then David will fold those in at appropriate times. And it's principally to allow you to participate live, but the vast majority are going to watch it in demand on the Happening Travel Club's YouTube channel and on the page for this trip. So let's just jump right in to this trip. I have been to Las Vegas, I'm not exaggerating, 50 times in my life. I went to Las Vegas the first time in 1980. So I'm really dating myself in terms of my experience in Las Vegas. Then to Reno, I have traveled between Las Vegas and Reno, which so many people do not do, and it is a fabulous experience via Death Valley National Park and the eastern slopes of the High Sierras. Nevada. This tour is designed to do the eastern side of the High Sierras on the Nevada side, and then is designed to do the western side of the Sierra of the national parks on the western side of the mountains in California. And they're a perfect complement to each other for our kind of experience at the Happening Travel Club. As we all know, the Villages is the largest senior community in the world, active lifestyle 55 plus, at 225,000 people in the Villages area, region. And it's a very specialized group of people that travel, and really, quite frankly, the best traveled of any guest, any zip code in the world is in the Villages. This is designed for our older guests like me, and it combines the excitement of Nevada's resorts with the beauty of the national parks. And so this itinerary, think of it first as a circle. You're going to travel a circle. The first portion of the trip, as it comes into Las Vegas, is going to travel up the eastern side of the High Sierras in Nevada, doing the resorts of Las Vegas and Reno, Tahoe. And then it's going to cross the High Sierras and travel south on the California side of the Sierras, doing 5 of the big national parks that are there. And then the trip finishes in a very fun third casino resort destination, which is Laughlin, Nevada on the Colorado River. So you get all 3 of the big Nevada resorts with all of the high energy, great big casino hotels, great meals, great entertainment. And you also get the great sightseeing of 5 national parks. So as you see here, this trip is pretty simple. It's called National Parks and Nevada Resorts. The 3 Nevada resorts and 5 national parks, all as an escorted tour by Motor Coach. One more second, David, if you could go back. I'm pointing out to you 2 departures, April 11th of 2027, or you can plan now for April 9, 2028, either itinerary. Springtime, by the way, is a great time to go, both for Nevada and for the national parks. Nevada can tend to get very hot in midsummer, especially we're going to places like Death Valley National Park, and you could have 125 degrees in the peak of the summer. Springtime is a great time to be in Las Vegas, Reno, Tahoe, and Laughlin. And springtime is a great time to be at the national parks. The national parks peak in California is June, July, and August. And when I say peak, that means ants in an anthill. It is very, very busy. Spring and April is a little less busy, so it makes the national parks a bit more special and also beautiful to visit the national parks, because places like Yosemite, for example, and Kings Canyon to a lesser extent, but definitely Yosemite, spring snowmelt is happening and the waterfalls are absolutely beautiful. This is a great time to go to Nevada and to the national parks. Thank you, David. Next. It's a 13-day itinerary, pretty inclusive, $1,599, including all of the government taxes and fees. And we'll go through the itinerary in a moment. $123 a day for the trip, fully escorted by Motor Coach. Of course, it includes the escort. The travel club has asked me to host the April 27th trip, and I'll be happy to be with you. Very extensively traveled in all of the destinations this tour will do. And the 2028 trip, whatever the travel club does, will also be completely escorted. Unusual, by the way, for a tour, because in Las Vegas and Reno, many, many destination people go to those resorts, to Las Vegas and to Reno, but they're not escorted. You're on your own, and it's not really a requirement, but for our age group, it helps add value of how to spend your time. What do you recommend for shows? Where do you recommend for dining? What's the difference in some of the buffets, for example, versus some of the gourmet dining that exists both in Las Vegas and Reno? So the escort with you the entire trip is of great value. I think I'm of great value to be with you. Next, feature accommodations, first-class accommodations in Nevada, specifically the Excalibur and the Luxor. In Reno, the Silver Legacy, which is downtown in Reno, and in Laughlin is my favorite hotel in Laughlin at Harrah's Resort, right on the on the Colorado River. But it's first-class hotels through the entire state. Next. Comprehensive sightseeing. You have sightseeing everywhere. There's sightseeing in Las Vegas, which is also unusual from a tour inclusion standpoint, because sightseeing is included. In Reno, sightseeing is included. And in Laughlin, sightseeing is included. And then, of course, the High Sierra is doing the California side to the 5 national parks. You have sightseeing in all of the national parks. This is very comprehensive in all of the things that you see. Next. Many meals are included. We'll talk about the meals in just a moment. And next. Of course, it includes transportation, Motor Coach transportation, travels with you upon arrival in Las Vegas, and will be with you through the entire trip to Laughlin, and then the final transfer from Laughlin to McCarran Airport in Las Vegas. So all your transportation is included. Next. Now, day one, we fly into Las Vegas, and we're benefited by having Cherie and Scott with us, destination experts on Las Vegas. Both of you, let's just have a quick kind of free-form conversation about Las Vegas. I know many of the people that are going to watch this on demand on YouTube are going to go, I remember when. Las Vegas has gone through lots of dramatic transformation and transition over the last 30 years. Kind of update us of what an experience in Las Vegas is like today and how the destination serves older guests. And just some first thoughts about the experience in Las Vegas.
Yes, thanks, Al. Las Vegas certainly has undergone a complete transformation from what it was probably 30, 40 years ago and continues to evolve today. So there's many different activities of all ages can enjoy in Las Vegas. You kind of touched upon some of the dining options. You know, we were known for our, I'm going to say 99-cent shrimp cocktails, all-you-can-eat buffets, and we've really transitioned into a dining destination that is, I want to say, unmatched by many others. We have so many celebrity Michelin-rated chefs in town. We have everything from your all-you-can-eat buffets, but they've been a bit elevated now as well. So they kind of take the experience and modified it a little bit and really have improved on the quality and the experience overall. We have amazing food tours, speakeasies, supper clubs, and cooking classing experiences as well to enjoy. So just a multitude of different things. Whether you're into wine, you can do a wine tour, or you just want to have some light bites somewhere. We have multitude of different options, such as food courts that are now been replacing many of the buffets that used to line all the strip hotels. We still do have them. However, many of them have transitioned into a more choose and pay what you want when you want it.
Yeah. And Cherie, anything you want to add as a first impression on the experience in coming to Las Vegas today?
Well, I love Las Vegas as well, but I mainly handle the areas that surround Las Vegas, but I do handle golf in Las Vegas. We actually have over 52 golf courses, which are amazing, both private and non-private. And even some of the private golf courses, I have ways that you can get in and onto them. So we have great golfing in our area. We also I do the areas that surround the strip. So for instance, Boulder City may not have world-class dining chefs, but they do have world-class food that's been featured on the Foodie channel. And so I love Boulder City. It's like a Mayberry RFD on steroids. It's easy walkable. The streets are lined with murals, art displays, and of course, it is Vegas's backyard to adventure. We have kayaking, kayaking. Of course, the Hoover Dam's there, but we also have an airport. We can do scenic tours to some of the canyons on couple hour flights, which is really nice to go over back in just a few hours if they want to see some of the canyons that aren't on your list. We also have 82 miles of hiking and biking trails. You can even hike up to hot springs, which are one of my favorite things to do. We have several natural hot springs. Lunch cruises, dinner cruises on Lake Mead as well. And yes, we still have water in Lake Mead. So anyway, but as far as the strip go, I'm going to let Scott, he's our expert on
He's the expert. Cherie, I wanted to ask real quick, do you in your designation at the Visitors Authority, you cover Laughlin also?
I do. Laughlin, Mesquite, Prim, and Boulder City, and Good Springs.
Excellent. For a lot of listeners, if you haven't been to Las Vegas in a long time, the outside of surrounding perimeters of Las Vegas can be as exciting as the city itself. I have been there in February and March. They have a mountain very close called Mount Charleston, and they have a ski resort there. And you would never think about skiing in Las Vegas, but you can, and many, many things around Las Vegas. We'll talk more about Laughlin, Cherie, in a moment. Scott, I wanted to ask you about, and by the way, Cherie mentions golfing. A lot of people do not realize that the Villages is a golf cart community that is 32 miles across, all completely golf cart accessible, all 32 miles, every road in the Villages. There are 70,000 golf carts here, and golf is a very exciting activity on 56 golf courses in the Villages. So it is quite an interesting.
And one thing I do want to point out is some of you have traveled with us and are familiar with how we do our itineraries. But for those of you who are not, or for our guests who are joining, When I make stops in cities, I tend to have a tour day and then a free day. I like to have multi-day stops in the cities. So some of the things that Sheree has mentioned, you'll definitely want to look into for the stays as we go on. And Al will go over the itinerary. So if anybody in the our guests from the area have suggestions for those days, definitely make sure to chime in with those, and we can also help provide that information to folks who book later on to help you get set up with things.
And one other just a real quick thing about golf, since you are such a big golfing community, you may not be aware of it, but an hour outside of Vegas North is a little town called Mesquite, Nevada, which is known for its golf. It's a very highly rated golf destination, but it also sits on the Arizona, Nevada, and California border. And if you're really ambitious, you can golf all three in one day if you start very, very early.
Well, you've laid down a challenge, and several I'm sure we'll take up.
And in between is the Valley of Fire as well, which is a miniature Bryce Canyon type state park. Anyway.
Scott, I wanted to return back to dining. Such a dramatic transition. And I don't think in Florida we have as good an understanding of what's going on in terms of food and dining. You explained the transition of many of the buffets. For most of us in Florida, we still think of Las Vegas as the Fremont Street, Union Plaza buffet. It's definitely, you're absolutely crystal clear, it's not that. But explain what the experience is like if you're staying at Luxor or Excalibur in terms of walking the street, the choices that are available to you in value, which the buffet is still looked at as a value opportunity. But you mentioned so many Michelin star chefs that have come. Kind of help us understand what the dining experience on the Las Vegas Strip, for example, is in the hotels now.
It's a wide spectrum, honestly, from your quick serve to fast casual and fine dining. So you kind of have all these different opportunities. I mentioned earlier that we do have supper clubs. So that actually combines entertainment and dining in one. So your entire experience is the evening itself at the restaurant or at the supper club. So there's live entertainment, some of which you don't even know is unfolding right next to you. We have many other options like entertainment dining venues such as Blake Sheldon's Old Red, Jason Aldean's Kitchen and Bar, and Bottled Blonde, where you can dine, be entertained by either sports or live music throughout the day. And we even have Brewdog right on the Las Vegas Strip. So all three have great views from their patios of the Strip and combine great food and entertainment. So there really is such a broad spectrum. If you wanted to have that five-star, five-diamond dining experience, we have some great French chefs as well. Joe Robuchon at MGM Grand, which is just a short, maybe a monorail ride from the Luxor to the MGM Grand and a little walk, as well as Guy Savoy, for example, right at the heart and center at Caesar's Palace. We have some of the first female celebrity chefs to own their restaurants in town, like Giada's and Chica by Chef Lorena Garcia, which you may be familiar with in Southern Florida.
I absolutely am. Richard Goditis, one of the escorts at the travel club that lives in the Villages, is religious on the Food Network. And it's just shocking when you watch the Food Network, how many of the competing chefs in the shows and how many of the celebrity chefs are based now in Las Vegas or have footprints in Las Vegas. It's amazing.
One of my favorite dining experiences in Vegas is the Lip Smackin' Foodie Tour or Tasty Buzz. They take you to several of the top restaurants, and you're guided by somebody who is very knowledgeable on the history of Vegas, the food and drink combinations that they're providing you. I just recently did it. It was an amazing experience.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Scott, I also want to transition from the dining opportunity in Las Vegas to the entertainment opportunity. I know many of the people that will watch this video on demand remember the Folies Bergère and the big traditional showgirl shows in Las Vegas. there's been huge transition in that also in terms of some of the big shows. Of course, Cirque du Soleil. I was at a Cirque show just last week here in Florida. There's one based at Disney Springs at Walt Disney World. Tell us about the entertainment today. What can people expect when they go to Las Vegas for entertainment?
Certainly. Let's start with Cirque du Soleil. They operate 5 different shows on the Las Vegas Strip. So everything from your family-friendly shows to even an adult risque show, which would be Mad Apple right at New York, New York. So they kind of cover the spectrum of what you can see and be entertained with. We have multiple different shows, everything from your adult, maybe review shows to comedy, family-friendly comedy shows or magic shows. We have some parody type shows. So if you're into themes like Star Wars or Harry Potter, we do have those available. One entertainment venue that has been very popular and all over the world is the Sphere, actually. So they have a resident show called Wizard of Oz that is on schedule through the end of the year. And then in between those shows, they have some daytime shows and evening shows. They have the live entertainers that come into town. So the headliners like the Backstreet Boys this summer, Kenny Chesney, Metallica is coming in the fall. And the Eagles just announced more dates here in Las Vegas. So very exciting time to be in Las Vegas and see a variety and multitude of things. We even have a performing arts center downtown called the Smith Center, which sees our traveling Broadway series, classical music acts, and ballet. And they even have a cabaret lounge. So throughout the week, you can enjoy a variety of different entertainment.
Scott, help our viewers that'll be watching this presentation on the trip in walking us through. Explain the Sphere. The Sphere is really a new and legendary performance venue. Wizard of Oz playing, as you said. Hopefully it'll be extended. But if not, whatever they do next is going to be outstanding. But explain what the Sphere is really all about, because that's really very new.
Absolutely. Revolutionary technology is the best way I can really explain it. The Sphere is the world's largest spherical structure. It is faceted with LEDs throughout the entire exterior, helping it morph into any different scenescape that it can be designed on it. Inside is actually the second largest LED screen, which extends around you and above your head. It is a theater configuration and has some state-of-the-art technologies, beamform sound system, which I want to say for a concert, the sound system is amazing. And it's really kind of, I want to use the word immersive when you're watching either Wizard of Oz or any of the concerts. The depth perception and kind of 3D visuals that you get within this space, you don't even need, glasses, 3D glasses or anything to help enhance that visualization of the whatever they're displaying on the screen. So it's truly amazing. The seats are built in with haptics, so you feel vibrations. They have everything from sight, sound, smell, and you feel every force that's coming at you within the show.
Yeah, the Sphere and Scott does the best he can to do it in words, which doesn't do it justice. So I just echo for Scott. It is an incredible experience. The Wizard of Oz at the Sphere. Think about the size of it. You should look at pictures of the Sphere. The Wizard of Oz going on is interactive. So, for example, they have dramatically improved the original 1939 in terms of graphic image of the video cells and the sound of the video. And so, for example, you have unique things that no one, I think, even ever dreamed of. The first time the Wicked Witch appears in Munchkinland and you see the green smoke, you smell what the Wicked Witch and the smoke is like. And it's just an amazing experience. So entertainment, definitely the Sphere you want to be looking at if you're participating in either of the April trips, but just countless things in entertainment. One other thing that I would say about entertainment in Las Vegas as we continue the itinerary is once upon a time in the 90s, for example, Branson came along and Branson kind of reinvented entertainment for a more mature audience like us, like me, and did all kinds of shows, many theaters being built. But the real interesting thing that they did in Branson is they had morning shows, and they had afternoon shows, and they had lunch shows, and they had dinner shows, and they had evening shows. And no one had really ever seen that. It wasn't a Broadway concept, because Broadway is a matinee, but mostly an evening. Las Vegas has matched that since the 90s, where literally you can watch shows all day long. If you want to do a midday show, you can. If you want to do an afternoon show, you can. If you want to do an evening show, you can. If you want to do a late night show, you can. The choices really are almost endless in Las Vegas, which makes it quite an exciting time to visit. I think the bottom line of the point of what Scott and Cherie tell us is, if you haven't looked at Las Vegas in a while, it's time to do that, because lots of new things have come along that just reinvented the city. We loved the Rat Pack, but the Rat Pack was in the 1960s. This is the 2020s, and there's a fresh approach going on in Las Vegas that we want to experience. Let's move on into the itinerary. So very leisurely paced. There's a picture of the Sphere. The Fremont Experience, of course, the Excalibur. That picture of the Sphere, look at the building that's behind it. It will help provide some definition of the size of what you're looking at. And this is just the exterior imaging of the color, live movement, etc. And the interior is even more exciting in terms of what they do. Las Vegas, while it is escorted, I will be with you. I am helping you with choices. And the choices really are so significant in Las Vegas that you don't want to waste your time. There's so many choices. You can be in a malaise in terms of not planning your time the way you want, because there's so many choices. Many destinations we go to, there is a single attraction. I escorted a trip early last month to Michigan, to the Holland Tulip Festival and the Grand Hotel in Mackinac. And in Detroit, the attraction is Greenfield Village and the Henry Ford Museum. But that's the big attraction. There's not many other choices. In Las Vegas, it's not that way. There's just countless choices. So you need day at leisure to do that. Then on day 3, we have another day at leisure. Again, escorted, so many things to do. I'm kind of a hotel nut, and I love the new hotels when they're built, and going in and just experiencing the hotel, the lobbies, the shopping. All of the big hotels have great shopping. The Forum shops at Caesar's Palace are kind of old hum from years and years ago, but they've invested millions and millions and millions of dollars to keep it fresh. And the Forum shops are spectacular. Going to shopping at Caesar's Palace is still an amazing, amazing experience. Before we leave Vegas, Scott, anything else you want to tell us about Las Vegas?
Yes, again, so many different things, so many different districts. If you wanted to continue that shopping theme, for instance, in between downtown Fremont Street and the Las Vegas Strip is what's known as our Arts District. This is a great walking little part of the city that is just north of the Stratosphere, where you have antique shops, you have art galleries, as it's in the name, some locally owned bars, restaurants, brew houses, wine tasting rooms. So it's really a different side of Las Vegas that many don't see. So there's some activities that can be enjoyed in that area. Then you move down to Fremont Street. We have family-friendly Container Park. We have some other great restaurants. We have the East Fremont Street District. And then again, just so many different activities, even museums like the Mob Museum, the Children's Museum, and the Neon Museum, where we kind of have the history of Las Vegas signage that goes to live out and be displayed for you to enjoy as a tour. They have a show that I always recommend adding on called Brilliant. It's an add-on experience to the guided or self-guided tour experience. So definitely check those out.
One final thought on this portion of Las Vegas that I think is very interesting. Once upon a time, Las Vegas grew out of the desert. It was Fremont Street downtown, and then the Strip, where most of us know Caesars, etc. But once upon a time, it was a destination. Las Vegas was a city for visitors. That is no longer the case. Las Vegas is a major American city, millions living in Las Vegas. And when Scott describes what is going on in an arts district, etc., and many of the changes, it's also designed for local residents. When I visited in the 1980s and 1990s, it never seemed like they were thinking about somebody that lived in Las Vegas. It was all aimed at the visitor. Today, it's at both. And that's why, for example, you have the sports teams that you do. It breaks my heart that the Raiders are there and playing in Las Vegas, but they are. So there's sports teams, professional sports teams. There is a vibrant city in Las Vegas. It is a destination. It's Miami. It's Atlanta. Etc. And as a result, it makes the destination even richer because the restaurants, the shopping, the sightseeing, all are competing for the local resident in addition to you. And it means that they're on their game better than ever before. I love the romance of Las Vegas in the 70s and 80s, but you should try Las Vegas because you'll fall in love with it all over again.
And I do just want to say, Pam and Nick are watching us on YouTube and have expressed interest in the Sphere. The Sphere shows are only listed through mid-March of next year, but as the schedule gets listed out, we'll be able to help you with planning shows or experiences there.
Sure, absolutely. So the experience of the first of our Nevada resorts in our national parks and Nevada resorts trip. Then on day 4, you will be with me, and we have a fantastic day. I love this day. I have done this day, I'm not exaggerating, 15 times at least with tour groups. And everyone comes away with going, I had no idea. Because Nevada for us, let's set aside Laughlin a moment. Please forgive me, Cherie.
No worries.
But for everyone in the East, for decades and decades, when you think of Nevada, you think Las Vegas and you think Reno, Tahoe. And there is this massive open space between the two of them. And there's a lot of history, and it's really quite an interesting experience to do. So on this day, we will travel, and basically this is desert travel. You're traveling on the eastern rim of the High Sierras, so you will see mountains for a large portion of the day. The first stop will be to Death Valley National Park. Death Valley, this is a great time to go to Death Valley. I have stayed at Furnace Creek in August. It is so hot that walking out your door, it's just like, it just minimizes the incredible experience that Death Valley is. That will not be your experience in April. And I assure you there will be no rain. I right now, write it on the back of a $20 bill. No rain on this day at Death Valley National Park. It's the lowest point in the United States. And Furnace Creek is interesting. The Borax is interesting. I don't know if you remember Death Valley days. Gosh, I'm really dating myself in the television show, but it is a fantastic experience to talk about visiting this national park in Nevada. So we'll visit Death Valley National Park, and then when we leave Death Valley National Park, we will go to famous places like Tonopah, very famous in its history as being filled with brothels, which is a very interesting Nevada history, and we learn all of that. And then in our travels, we see many small towns. Traveling between Las Vegas and Reno, you have to be very motivated to live in these rural region between Las Vegas and Reno. And so as a result, the people are interesting because they want to do this and live there. Another major site that you see for the day is the Loneliest Road. This is the space alien and desert highway, Area 51. Fame, and once upon a time Area 51 was a great fascination with us, but since we've revealed all of the documents ever done on aliens, we know they exist and we're not so much interested in them anymore. But Area 51 and this remoteness, you can see why this secret base, if it was built allegedly, was built where it was, because there are no people. And it adds to the mystique and interest. And so we'll travel for the day. We A very beautiful day, fun to watch. You'll think about a desert completely different on this day in traveling to Reno. Then we arrive in Reno on day 4. If you go back just one sec, we will stay 2 nights in Reno. We will stay downtown. Reno is different than Las Vegas. It's much, much smaller, first off. I believe we'll see a picture of the biggest small city in the world. Reno makes an interesting point of going, we're not Las Vegas. And they lead with that. And it's a wonderful lead because Reno is a completely different experience than Las Vegas. We don't need a second Las Vegas, either in Nevada or on the itinerary. But that does not make Reno Tahoe any less interesting to do. Silver Legacy is part of a very famous Nevada hotel group and a very large property, I think somewhere in the neighborhood of like 2,600 rooms. Reno can be a little bit more like Las Vegas used to be. For those of you visiting, it might have a feel of the kind of casino town, casino resort of yesterday. And we stay the night in the 2 nights in Reno. I want to bring Katie and Jennifer back in. First off, I start the conversation about Reno. What would you tell us about what you think is so special and that Floridians and people watching this YouTube should know about Reno? What do you think?
Jennifer had to leave, but we do still have Katie here.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you.
Yep, I'm going to jump in and I will be sharing all the tidbits. So we are the biggest little city in the world. We have a huge arch that proclaims it. So obviously it's true.
It's true.
I think you described it and started off well by saying we are not another Vegas, because I don't think anyone could replicate that feel that they definitely have down there. But we are a 4-season destination. So I think that's a little different for most people's image of what Nevada is going to be. So you're going to be right up against the Sierra Nevada mountains. Like you said, we're the gateway to Lake Tahoe. So we're roughly 45 minutes. And I know it's on your itinerary as well.
Right.
What's great about Reno is it's pretty compact and convenient. So it's really walkable. Our downtown area is close to some great museums. We do have, I think, an emerging foodie scene. We do a lot of farm to table type restaurants because where we are located, we're surrounded by a lot of really great agricultural areas. If you didn't know, distilling, we allow a lot of things. You mentioned that Tonopah was known for a certain leisure activity. Nevada didn't allow distilling though until about, I think it was about 8 years ago. So legally you couldn't do anything except for like home brews. And so massive distilling has happened and there's some really great small, what's called estate distilleries in the area. So that's a fun thing to experience. We have the only accredited art museum in Nevada. So we just have some really small hidden gems in the Reno area, all within a great distance. It's really walkable. We love art. If you've ever heard of Burning Man, it is a once, kind of like the Villages, it's its own special little community. So is Burning Man.
That's
and
right.
It happens every August. It's a big art party out on a dry lake bed. And we are the last city you visit before you get out there. So with that, we get a lot of the art back into Reno. So we have great arts and culture tours that are based around that as well.
My friends that have gone to Burning Man repeatedly have told me stories about the last Walmart in Reno is where you stop. You got to stop on your way to Burning Man. For those that do not understand completely what Kathleen just said in terms of its designation, Reno is a mountain resort. While it's not in the mountains, it's the gateway for mountain resort. Different than Las Vegas. The state capital, Carson City, is very close to Reno. I always find interesting and parallels to Florida. Why is our state capital in the Panhandle in Florida when 95% of our population lives in the middle and south? Well, there's reasons it's in Carson City, just like it was in Tallahassee. And that's an interesting story. For those of you who are fans of the 1960s and 70s show Bonanza, the Bonanza Ranch, when the show opens, shows you Reno and Lake Tahoe and where the ranch of Bonanza was. And when they went to the big town, they went to Virginia City. And Virginia City was put on the map. Lots of famous stories about the silver mines there and Mark Twain and what Mark Twain wrote about in northern Nevada. It has beautiful history, completely different than southern Nevada. And that's one of the reasons I'm enthusiastic on this itinerary. Las Vegas and southern Nevada is a natural complement to the road to Reno and then being in the north for 3 days because it's completely different. And then, of course, Lake Tahoe. Lake Tahoe is one of the most stunning lakes in America, bar none. I've just come back from Michigan, the Grand Hotel on Lake Michigan at Mackinac, Lake Huron. They're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. But in terms of, Tahoe is much smaller, but the scenic beauty of Lake Tahoe is just incredible. You can go all the way around. State line side has casinos. The California side, it's a split between California and Nevada. So lots to see and do in northern Nevada, basing in Reno, which is completely different than Las Vegas. And the reason I point that out is some people will say, gosh, it's a lot of casinos. Well, no, it's not a lot of casinos because it's only a lot of casinos if you want a lot of casinos. There are so many other things to do. You're staying in a casino resort in Las Vegas and you're staying in a casino resort in Reno. But if you don't play, you don't play slots, you don't go to the tables, you won't care at all because it's a great resort hotel for you for all of the other things that you're going to do in dining and entertainment. Kathleen, tell us real quick, you mentioned about the emerging dining scene. This is a place still where you can get a good value buffet in Reno. It still exists. In terms of entertainment, tell us a little bit about what the show and entertainment scene is in Reno today.
Yeah. So again, smaller scale, but we definitely, where you're staying, actually typically has a running Cirque show. Right now they have one called, it's about Alice in Wonderland. And so it's a Cirque show about that. It's actually in the El Dorado Resort, which is one of the properties that's connected to the Silver Legacy. Right. The Nugget Resort in Sparks, which is just a stone's throw away. They have one called Magique, and it's a burlesque magic show. It is actually done by two gentlemen who were in Vegas for quite a bit of time, and during 2020 came back to Reno, their hometown, and did their show here. So that's a fantastic one. Our largest property has a running magic show, but they have one of the largest theaters. And if you ever came to Reno in the, let's say 50s, 60s, 70s, it used to be the Hilton and it was the MGM. It's now the Grand Sierra Resort, and they have the Grand Theater. They used to put on the show Hello Hollywood, but now they put on more concerts and musical acts like that. So that tends to be where we go with our entertainment. We do have some standing shows, but we definitely lean more into the music scene and kind of ties well into our history in the area. You brought up Virginia City. It actually in the 70s, random fact, was kind of the start of the psychedelic rock era. And so before it made it into San Francisco. So we really love that kind of counterculture in our region.
Yeah. The bottom line is lots of show choices while you're there in the evening, especially. Both evenings could justify a really good show, pretty good value in Reno for these shows. And Kathleen dated me because the first tour that I escorted stayed at that property, has a giant bowling alley, and it was quintessential Nevada at the time. And I did that in the 80s. Then on day 5, Virginia City, Lake Tahoe, Lots of choices here. You see the lake there that is coming out of, I believe, Emerald Bay on the upper right picture. There is a paddle wheel boat. I believe it's called the Tahoe Queen, if memory serves.
MS Dixie
Oh,
would
the
be
Dixie.
that one.
Yeah. I have, let me spoil something for those that I'll make arrangements if you would like to cruise on it. It's quite beautiful because the mountains line the lake. Squaw Valley on the California side, ski resort. Olympic City here is close to Reno. Squaw Valley, and on the Nevada-California border side is Heavenly Resort, and there are others, many ski resorts in this region. I have been on this boat as you're cruising, and they're doing narrated sightseeing, and the captain will announce to the left side of the boat, there's whales, and everybody on the boat runs to the left to see the whales in the lake. It's an old joke, but it happens almost every cruise that they do. It's fun. And Tahoe is just a beautiful, different experience. The ride over the pass is quite spectacular. And the Ponderosa Pines are also quite beautiful. It's a lovely, lovely day. Then yes.
I'd like to just say a couple of things real quick. As far as dining goes, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the Reno, Tahoe, and Carson area are all big Basque areas. And there's a really nice Basque restaurant that's just a short walk from the hotel you guys are staying at. I highly recommend it. It was delicious. Absolutely to die for. Delicious.
What is it called? Do you remember its name?
Jeez.
It's Louis Basque Corner.
There you go.
Okay, I'll look that up because I don't know it.
And the other one is I actually dined on your river walk, which was a really lovely walk from the hotel. And there were several restaurants along there that had delicious food as well. And then the other thing I would suggest on things to do while you're in the area, if you haven't taken the Virginia Truckee Line, it's a railroad trip that goes up to Virginia City. It's a fun experience as well.
Yeah, thank you very
Just
much.
wanted to throw that in. Okay.
Thanks. Then on returning to the itinerary on day 6, then we leave Reno motor coach. We are going to now travel west, and one of the famous stops. We're basically crossing the High Sierra and the Continental Divide. Very famous history here. Donner, the famous group that resorted to cannibalism to survive because they were stranded in a winter in the cross. And we're going to go to California 49. And California 49 is a north-south road on the west side, California side of the High Sierras. Very scenic because it's the location of Sutter's Mill and where Gold Rush began and really propelled the West. The 1849 Gold Rush is really what helped bring Nevada and California to real super attention in the East. And that was because of the silver going on in Nevada, Virginia City, and then the gold strike on Sutter's Mill. This road is a California State Historic Highway that runs north and south and is very scenic. You will visit many lovely small California communities that are dedicated to the gold rush and the life of the Sierras. And this is a very scenic day of travel. We will overnight one night in Merced. Then on day 7, we will travel to Yosemite National Park. My favorite experience ever, even over Christmas, although Christmas was fantastic. Snowfall began on Christmas Eve, and that's a special experience when you're staying at the Ahwahnee Hotel on the Yosemite Valley floor. But my most favorite experience of all in Yosemite was an April visit with a tour. Lots of tours don't do it because the peak season is June, July, and August. And so tour companies can kind of get into this routine of that's when everybody wants to go. April is fantastic. Snow melt is taking place and the falls are running. As they call it, quite spectacular. Half Dome. The ride, if you have not been to Yosemite National Park, 148 countries in the world, and I would say the ride pass in to Yosemite Valley coming over the pass is one of the 10 great things to see on this planet. It is breathtakingly stunning. There's a beautiful overlook that we will stop at to take in the valley before we even go down into it. It is absolutely just a breathtaking experience. We will spend sightseeing in Yosemite National Park. We will exit out the south gate of the national park. You will be able to start to see some of the giant trees at the park and south of the park. And we will go to Fresno, and we will overnight in Fresno for one night. Then on day 8, we will do 2 national parks. We will do Kings Canyon National Park, which is quite spectacular. People think of it like Grand Canyons National Park. The canyon is obviously much smaller, and the park is very, very different. Kings Canyon, unlike Grand Canyon, is very green, very treed in terms of its topography, and quite interesting at Kings Canyon. And of course, Sequoia National Park, they border each other. And we will go to Sequoia National Park to see the largest trees on this planet. Everyone is more aware of the redwoods, probably because of Muir Woods in San Francisco. Of course, there's the Redwood National Park in Northern California, but sequoia are the bigger trees, biggest trees. You will see trees where you're going to get that famous picture standing next to one, and you'll have difficulty locating you. The tree is so large.
Yes, I do want to point out there is a person in that picture of the trees in the top left, right by the fourth from the left. You can see the tiny little person.
Thank you. I didn't even see it. The upper left picture, look to the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4 trees over. That's a person. That's it's lovely. We don't obviously have anything like that in Florida. And so we'll do Kings Canyon and Sequoia National Park. All of the national park admissions are included. By the way, some people think I have a national park pass in and I can get in. They do not do that. For tours, we pay there's an admission, a very sizable admission for each national park. That's all included. All of the sightseeing's included. It's all pre-done by the travel club. And we'll overnight in Bakersfield, California, which is in Southern California. Then on day 9, we will travel to our 5th national park, and that is Joshua Tree. Joshua Tree is one of the largest national parks in America, but also one of the least visited national parks. And Joshua Tree kind of falls off attention because Grand Canyon, what are you seeing? The canyon. At Yosemite, what are you seeing? Yosemite Valley. Joshua Tree doesn't have Sequoia. You're seeing the giant trees. Joshua Tree doesn't have a landmark quite like that, but it makes it equally interesting in our experience of the 5 national parks. This is completely different than Death Valley and lowest point of Badwater. Completely different than the Yosemite Valley at Yosemite, Kings Canyon, Sequoia. Joshua Tree is an alien landscape. And the Joshua Tree, of course, is the feature focus. There's many other things to see as we visit the national park, but it is like visiting an alien, perhaps, planet, is what you might think of. Quite an excellent experience in our travel to Laughlin. And on day 9, we'll arrive in Laughlin.
And real quick, a lot of people don't realize that Joshua Tree National Park is actually home to 7 different species of owls, too. Everything from the great horned owl to burrowing owls, which also makes it a really fun experience trying to spot those unique birds that live and exist there in this very wilderness, dry, arid area.
Very wilderness is the description. Thank you for that. The upper right-hand picture is the Colorado River. Cherie is our expert today on this. The Colorado River rings a bell to you because I think a lot of people in the East don't understand the big rivers in the West. They don't understand the Mississippi, for example. They know the Mississippi out of Minneapolis, finishing in New Orleans and exiting into the Gulf. The West has that too. and the West has it with the Colorado.
Yes.
And the Colorado most famous is at Grand Canyon National Park. This is the river that caused the formation of Grand Canyon. By the time it gets to this location, you've come out of those ridges and the Colorado Laughlin and the Colorado River. This is a Nevada casino resort that is built because it's in Nevada on one side of the river. And so you have more traditional hotels in Laughlin, entertainment, dining. And one of the reasons this is a great inclusion is Laughlin is not Las Vegas. It's about 90 minutes away, but it's not Las Vegas. And Laughlin is not Reno. Reno, in a downtown city, heart capital of northern Nevada, Laughlin is different than that. And it makes it great. Many, many people that I have been with that go to Laughlin say, oh my goodness, this reminds me of Las Vegas in the 1960s or 70s. And that just continues to be true. And in many respects, having your stay here in Laughlin is a great way to finish this experience because it's different than Las Vegas and Reno, but a big casino resort destination and the complement to the 5 national parks. So, Cherie, that's kind of the introduction of Laughlin. Why don't you tell us about what we can expect to see?
Well, you are. Thank you, Al. First, I'd like to thank you and David for allowing us to be part of this program. And if you guys have any questions, I'm always happy to help. But I love working for the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, and we cover all of Clark County, which is a very large county. And one of the most unique things about Laughlin and Mesquite is they sit right on the tip of two other states. In Mesquite, it's Arizona and Nevada and Utah. And in our area, Laughlin is California, Nevada, and Arizona. And the Colorado River is very unique, as you said. But what our towns are known for is they're very relaxed and friendly. One of the nicest compliments our visitors constantly make is, when I get back from Laughlin, I actually had the feeling that I was relaxed, that I actually had a really relaxing vacation stay, and that the people are so friendly. But the Colorado River is what makes us definitely unique, because our river runs at 7 knots. It's so clear you can see 20 feet down into the river. The water is beautifully clean. 3 of our resorts, because all but one of our resorts is actually on the river, have beautiful sandy white beaches. They all have beautiful resort pools that look over the river. So you can go to the docks, and people get around our area in one of 2 ways. They can jump on a water taxi, which is $5 one way, $25 for an all-day pass, and get on and off as many times they would like. And they go to all the resorts along the river. They also walk the river walk, which is another way that people get around our city, because it's pretty easy to walk from most of the hotels through the river walk. We do have traditional resorts that your clients are staying with. You're staying at one of our favorites. Harrah's Beach Resort is a gorgeous property with its own private beach, which is really nice. And you can rent jet skis off of it. We also have jet boat tours that go down to Lake Havasu and the London Bridges. We have kayaking experiences that you can take just up the river to Emerald Cove, which is a fantastic day paddle that you can do. Anyway, and of course, just relaxing is what we're known for. We golf in 3 states in 3 days, never be more than 30 minutes from your hotel room on any of the golf courses. We have 6 championship golf courses to choose from. We have a vodka rum distillery nearby, breweries. We have the Grand Canyon Caverns, which are really interesting to experience. That actually can house 2,000 people in case of a natural disaster. It actually has its own natural air scrubbing system inside this huge cavern, which is pretty cool. We are near great hiking trails at the end of the Casino Drive, which is where the casinos are located, is a nice trail system that goes all the way up to our dam. And then we have horseback riding stable areas over in that area as well. And then one of my favorite is Grapevine Canyon, which is an ancient wintering place for the ancient people. It's only about 5 minutes from the Strip. We have labyrinths that you can hike right off of the backside of Laughlin, which are really fun, that were created by a gentleman who took the most fun labyrinths that he could find around the world and tried to recreate them right there behind our casinos, which is also a fun thing that you can do there. So that's just some of the things that you can do just right from the hotels themselves.
Again, I would say what's important in this conversation as it relates to this tour itinerary is the vast majority of Floridians that go to Nevada do not get to Laughlin. They get to Vegas and they stop, or they go to Reno and they stop. The value advantage of this escorted tour is it pulls it all together. It's like puzzle pieces, pulling everything together as conveniently as possible because it's escorted and the transportation. I always tell people in Florida that ask me about Laughlin. Laughlin reminds me of, just related to the Villages. If you put a 2,000 room hotel on the main square of Lake Sumter Landing, you have Laughlin. It feels exactly the same way. The downtown square at Lake Sumter Landing feels like what Cherie has just told you of the Riverwalk and the water taxi in Laughlin. It can be a 2,000 room hotel, but it feels like a very small town. And as a result, that's, I think, what Cherie is saying, what she hears and experiences, that I felt like this was a very relaxing opportunity. The value of that is why this itinerary has 4 nights, because there's lots to see and do, and there's lots of do nothing, whichever it is, from whichever extreme, because when you're on the Colorado River, you can decide, today I'm going to walk up and I'm going to walk to the Edgewater and I'm going to have lunch at the Edgewater, walking along the Colorado River or popping on the water taxi, whatever the choice is. And it's a wonderful opportunity. If you do not play a single slot machine or a table game, make absolutely no difference at all. One other thing that I want to tell you in the itinerary, if we can move on to day 10, we do orientation sightseeing in Laughlin, but there's lots of things to do. You see the canyon pictures. The river is really the heart of Laughlin, different than Las Vegas and the Strip. Cherie says the Strip in Laughlin, but it's completely different than the Strip in Las Vegas. The real heart is the river, completely different than the downtown in Reno. And so there's lots to see and do at the resort and along the Colorado River, and lots of things, as Cherie mentioned, very nearby. And you'll have opportunity here. When you move to day 11, one of the examples is Western towns and the ghost towns. On the Arizona side, very close to Laughlin, there is a ghost town that is a living ghost town, and it houses the famous burros, the mules, and they run wild in the old ghost town. And it is a fantastic experience to visit a ghost town, have lunch in a saloon, and watch and interact with the burros. An example. On day 12, another thing that I would point out is water. Cherie mentions you can do a jet boat. Now, we've included that picture, but it's hard to understand what this really is. Directly from the dock at Laughlin, you travel by jet boat. If you've been to New Zealand, the Queenstown shot over jet boat, this is a little bit different in that it carries more passengers than the shot over in New Zealand and other jet boats around the country. But the jet boat travels at at top speed if it wants to, at approximately 40 miles an hour. And you're traveling a very scenic trip down the Colorado River to Lake Havasu. And Lake Havasu is in Arizona. You've crossed the border from Nevada into Arizona. And Lake Havasu, this jet boat for the day, will come down. It's a couple of hours down to Lake Havasu. And Lake Havasu is very famous because of the London Bridge. The London Bridge, and I believe in the 1980s, was dismantled in London and brought to Arizona to Lake Havasu and reconstructed over the Colorado River. And so you can do that via the jet boat. Requires no transportation, and it is a fun day because the boat, jet boat cruise down the Colorado is really quite beautiful, and all the way to Havasu, and then you shop and have lunch, and then you can either motor coach back if you would like to do it faster, or you can come back on the jet boat.
It just does. So, Al, you guys are coming at the perfect time in April too, because that is when the largest amount of our birds come through. We have over 240 different types of birds that fly through that area during that time. When you guys go through the Devil's Elbow, which is part of that trip, you'll see ancient writings on the sides of the river from the ancient people. You'll see sometimes bighorn sheep around there. We have all kinds of wonderful wildlife that you can see off the side of that jet boat when you take that tour. And like I said, April is a fantastic time because we have a lot of birding going on during that time.
Excellent. Yeah, and I completely agree with you. Then on day 13, it's our final day of the trip. Transfers are included, and that's important here. Laughlin is about 90 minutes approximately, give or take some, to McCarran Airport in Las Vegas. It's very important that your transfers be included. And so we have a specific recommendation in the itinerary of no flights before 1 o'clock, but your transfers are going to be provided for you. Your arrival transfers in Las Vegas are provided for you. And we don't do the air. The Travel Club does not recommend doing the air. And frankly, I agree with that. I was, just as an illustration on why you should be in charge of your own air, flying to Michigan on Monday, May 4th. On Friday night, Saturday morning, I got an email. My nonstop flight from Orlando was on Spirit Airlines. And Spirit said, well, we have no sales staff. We have no customer service. Do not contact us. We're not going to help you. That was essentially what the email said. But in the same email, it said, but that's if you're booking directly with them, which I had. And then in that same email, it said, but if you've booked with a third-party travel agency, Expedia, AAA, contact them because they will be able to help you. No, they can't. They can't. And it's just a stall. Whenever anything happens in travel as it relates to air, you want to go right to source, your airline. So you can search, and that's why the Travel Club does not do air. The different number of flight choices, baggage, seat assignments, how quickly do you want to board the plane, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The airlines, God love them, have all figured it out. And you should be in charge of all of those choices. So as a result, when you arrive in Las Vegas on day one, whether you're arriving at 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 3 o'clock in the morning, the Travel Club will do a private transfer from the airport to the hotel for you. And in this instance, on day 13, transfers are included back to the Las Vegas airport. So that's kind of a summary. Next slide, David. You can make reservations. The web page for the trip is now opened. It opened while this meeting is going on. That's the page at happening.travel National Parks 27 and 28 for each of those different trips. If you don't write that down, all you have to do is go to happening.travel and click on USA. And this trip will come right up. And that's how you make your reservations directly online. They don't accept phone reservations. Next. So that's the summary of our trip. I want to give everybody any parting thoughts before, if anybody has any questions, anything that Cherie or Scott, if Katie is still with us, anything anybody wants to add on the trip? Okay, well, I think we've done a good summary. The one thing before I turn it back over to David, the one thing that I want to make sure is really clear, and I think it is, but just making sure. This trip is very intentioned. It's planned in a very intentional way. It knows the guests, our members that are going to be on the trip. It knows what they want as an experience from the trip, and what they want is, they're not looking for a casino junket. They're not looking for being a casino guest invited by the casino. They're not looking for something where they would have to travel by car to so many destinations that would be difficult, especially for these national parks, especially for the distances that are included from the national parks. This itinerary is very intentioned. I would suggest it would be hard pressed to find an itinerary like this. That's a bold statement. But honestly, having 3 nights in Las Vegas with Death Valley and traveling that beautiful road of the desert, and it's a beautiful road, even though it's in the desert, to Reno, 2 nights in Reno, across the High Sierras, down 49, the historic 49, for Yosemite, Kings Canyon, Sequoia, Joshua Tree, and then finishing in Laughlin for 4 nights back to Las Vegas. A big circle, as I started by saying. Our circle starts in the south in Las Vegas and then continues up to the north to Reno, and then the circle continues down the national parks to Laughlin and then back to Las Vegas. It really is an intentioned itinerary that I think you're going to like very much. And I'm very sure you will. So, David, I'm going to turn it back over to you. And
first of all, thank you, Scott, Sherry, Kathleen, and then also Jennifer. If you speak to her, Kathleen. First of all, if anybody has questions for our guests, because their meeting's gone long, and I'm sure they have a busy day today. And then afterwards, if you have any questions in general, I'd be happy to assist with that.
And then again, all they have to do verbal if they have questions, or they can type a question.
Yes, and if you need to unmute to ask a question, you'll just click on the red picture of a microphone, and that will unmute you. Well, if that's it for questions, thank you guys so much for joining us. If you do come up with questions afterwards, anyone who is either in the meeting live or watching us afterwards on demand on YouTube or on the webpage, you can, of course, email us at info@happening.travel, or you can call our number or text us. All right.
Good.
Thank you so much, Sri. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, everybody. Nice